The Flow Workbook is a system that we designed to help people overcome this very common thing that we've seen a lot, which is whether they're digital, paper, whiteboard tools, many people had a task trust system which involved multiple things with unclear jobs. And it meant that tasks would fall through the cracks. As I worked hard to find systems that I could recommend, and I was iterating constantly on my own task trust system, I realized there were a lot of limitations to digital tools that many people don't think of. The one that had certainly affected me. The digital tools can absorb an infinite task list. And this means that often it's really fantastic in the beginning. The first month is wonderful. You're just working through the tasks that are there. Then pretty soon you've accumulated a ton of tasks that are now present all the time. And I had to spend more and more time curating the tasks that I was working on. This didn't feel like very productive work. I would say, and we'll get to this a lot of the times, that David Allen and his Getting Things Done philosophy had really shown that for many task systems, process will beat tools all the time. And I think that that's likely very true. Unfortunately, building discipline and creating a consistent process is also really hard. And that's why we've got this Flow Workbook and why it developed for us. So what were we trying to do? In the coaching that I was doing, one thing that I realized was that the people who seemed happiest, but not yet fully content, were people who were often using paper planners instead of digital ones. For digital ones, people quickly abandon them or use them inconsistently. For the paper planners, they almost always had it with them, sometimes forgetting it and so having difficulty sort of finding those. But they had these scraps of paper that just continued and never really went away. Based on that, I did a lot more looking into other paper-based systems, including the bullet journal and Cal Newport's time block planner. And they were incredibly useful and I learned a bunch from them. But what I found was that they weren't yet integrating some of the best practices from the Flow way, which we'd been helping with a lot of people. And they were missing a few core fundamentals that let us think in those multiple levels. Not just what am I trying to get done today, but more easily, what am I trying to get done for this project? What am I trying to get done this week? What am I trying to get done this month? How does that relate to my overall goals? I hadn't yet found a good digital tool that really helped with this. And the ones that I did often got stuck in the same problem of all the other digital tools, which is that it was too easy for them to carry over the stuff which actually turned out not to be relevant. It was too much work to sort of go through and curate that. So often I just started again. And that resulted in the Flow Workbook. Flow Workbook was designed to take advantage of two things related to paper. And one was that it's physically constrained. So when your day is filled with scratch notes of all the things that you think you're going to get done, your day is too busy. And it's also just sort of present, which is great. And then it can just go away. So what we've designed this to do is to help you think through your big goals, think about your month, right? Give yourself the gift of your future self, looking a little bit ahead, then think about your weeks, and then think about each day in a really consistent way with the Flow way. That means clearing your mind when you start, understanding what your top level goals are before you decide on what it is that you're going to get done, time blocking your day really well, having space to reprioritize and replan it, especially at the midday point to say, what am I actually going to get done today? And then a checklist that will help you go through the shutdown ritual, which we think is so important. The other thing that we want to give to you is that every month you would just get a new version of the Flow Workbook. And so you put this one away and all the tasks that are no longer relevant would go with it. And you would just move over the things that are still relevant to you, which we found to be incredibly helpful. In addition, we found that for many people, it's not just about getting a thing, a book or a device, but that it's about helping to create the habits and processes that are there. And that's why it's a Flow Workbook cohort. When you join us in the first week, we are going to help you start your day well and then end your day well. It's just a 15 minutes in the morning and a 15 minutes in the afternoon. We're going to ask you to commit to it so you can build the habits necessary. We do that in the first week, then there's an optional second week that you can join if you're still struggling to integrate it into your day. And then we think that you should be flying. We're available, of course, to help you out if you get stuck, but then you should be getting your Flow Workbook on a monthly basis that can help you find real meaning and clarity during your day and a feeling that you're in control of it. There's a section on what are the other jobs to do. There's a very specific job that we want this to do for you. We think there are other tools that you'll need to use as well, and we want to explain that to you as well. That's part of the first day's orientation. Right, I hope you'll consider joining us if this could at all be helpful to you. Thanks, bye.